Here are the steps on how to create a box and whiskers plot, so please write them down, and then we'll go over an example and follow these steps to create a box plot given some data. Alright, so before we begin the example, let's just review the game plan here. So first, we're going to have to arrange the data from least to greatest. After that, we can identify the minimum, the maximum, and the median of the whole data set. Then once we do that, we can get the lower quartile Q1, which is going to be the median of the lower half of the data. And likewise, we can get Q3, which would be the median of the upper half of the data. After we do step 4, all that's left to do is to create the number line and begin drawing the box and whiskers. So let's go ahead and try this on an example. So example 2. The following is the height of 6th graders at Wilson Middle School. 64, 68, all the way to 96. Now we have to create a box and the whiskers plot of this data. So the good thing is that here we have the data already arranged from least to greatest. So we're done with part 1. Part 2, now we can identify the minimum, the maximum, and the median. The minimum is always your smallest value, and the maximum will be your largest value. So here the min is 64, and your max is going to be 96. Let's get the median by shaving off the edges, removing one item on the left, at the same time removing one item on the right. And here I begin by crossing out the 64, which means I have to cross out the 96. Let's cross out the 68. We have to cross out the 94. Let's keep doing that. Let's do it one more time. And we can see that in this scenario, we got two medians, which would be 76. Whenever you have two medians, you have to get the average of them. So here, 76 plus 76. Well, if we divide it by 2, we're going to get back that 76. So here, the median is 76. If you don't believe me, you can just do the math here. 76 plus 76 divided by 2. We're going to get a total of 152 over 2, which will give us 76 back. So that's the median. Now we have to get the Q1 and the Q3. And here's how we do it. I already kind of drew this barrier here. This barrier is basically distinguishing the lower half and the upper half. So we have to get the median of the lower half here. So let's get the median of these values here by shaving off the edges. So now if I remove a 64, that means I have to remove this 76. If I remove the 68, that means I have to remove that 74, and we have Q1. We have the median of the lower half of this data. We're going to do the same thing for the upper half. Now in this one, I'm going to cancel out the 76, and that means I have to cancel out the 96. I cancel out the 82, I cancel out the 94, and we can see that 86 is the median of the upper half. That would be Q3. And there we have our 5-number summary. Minimum is 64, maximum is 96, median is 76, Q1 is 70, Q3 is 86. All that's left to do is to organize this in a box and whiskers plot. So I'm going to draw my number line. For the number line, scale it by using your best judgment here. I started with 60 and I scaled it with 5 units, so going up by 5 so all the way to 100. And now I'm going to plot these values here. So at 64, which is around here, I have my first value here, my minimum of 64, and I'm just going to label it min. Then I have my maximum at 96, which is somewhere around here. I'm going to go ahead and label that. Right there, I have 96, that's my max. Let's get the median of 76, which is more or less somewhere around here. So just draw it right there. And that's going to be my 76. I'm going to put a median. Q1 is 70. That one's going to be right here. That one's Q1. I'm not going to label this one since it's pretty straightforward. It's above 70. And then for Q3, that one's going to be 86, so somewhere around here. So we have here 86, that one's the Q3. And just to make it look nice and consistent, I went ahead and labeled that 70. Now we can draw the box here. That's going to be the box. This line is going to represent the median. And then here we can begin to draw the whiskers. And that's how you would create a box and whiskers plot. Let's do one more example before you try these on your own. So now example 3. We gotta create a box and whiskers plot with this data now. Here the data is not arranged from least to greatest, so let's go ahead and arrange that really quickly before we begin to do the 5-number summary. I have the data arranged from least to greatest now, so I can get the minimum and the maximum. So the minimum will be 8 and the maximum is going to be 49. Let's begin to shave off the edges so we can start getting that median. So I'm going to cut out the 8, then cut out the 49. Let's go do it one more time. Do it again, again, and one more time. This time we see that we have a median of 20. The difference here is that here I got a clear median. In the previous one, we didn't. And that's going to make a difference on how we make the rest of the calculations. So here I have that 20, so I'm gonna cut it out and say median is 20. Now I'm aware you don't have the luxury of just removing all the tick marks you've made, but just follow along so you can get the idea on how to find the rest of the information. So for this problem, since I had a clear median, I actually cut that one out. Median is 20, so now these terms on the left are going to represent my lower half, and then these terms on the right are going to represent my upper half. The 20 is not going to play any role on either of the sides. In the previous example, one of the medians had to go to the left and the other one had to go to the right, but that only happened because we had 2 of them. When we have 1, you just cut it out. It's not going to choose a side, it's not going to go to the left, it's not going to go to the right. You just cut that out. Let's get the median of the lower half. So let's begin by shaving off the 8, and once we cross out the 8, we can cross out the 17. Let's cross out the 10, let's cross out the 14, and here we have 2 medians for Q1. So the median value of 11 and 13, that's going to be 12. So Q1 is going to be 12. And if you don't believe me, just do 11 plus 13 and divide that by 2. 11 plus 13 is 24. If we divide that by 2, we're going to get 12. So basically here you're just getting the number that's in between these two. After you do this a lot of times, you're going to realize that that's what happens. So now here, let's get the median of the upper half. So let's begin by cutting out the 22. That means we have to cut out the 49. We cut out 24, cut out 35, and we have 2 medians here. So the middle term between 27 and 29 is 28. So Q3 is 28. And again, if you're still confused about that, just get the average, 27 plus 29, and divide that by 2. You're going to get 56 over 2, which is 28. Alright, so now we have our 5-number summary, so let's write it down. All that's left to do is to create that number line, or that box and whiskers diagram. So let's go ahead and draw our little number line here. And I'm going to separate this by 5s. And now we can input this data here, beginning with the minimum 8, so somewhere around here. And here is the box plot. So use these 2 examples as a reference to complete the rest of this assignment, and then I'll see you on the next lesson.